I'm Ron Donaire, CEO of Intuizi. I have with me today Sam Littlefield. He's president and CEO at the Littlefield Agency, a company that is reimagining B2B marketing. From strategy, media, design to analytics, the Littlefield Agency stays on the front edge of change to keep their clients ahead of the competition. Sam, welcome to the Data Deep Dive.
Ron, thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're working on this year?
Yeah, man. So we've got a lot going on. I can't believe it's May. That's we're trying to wrap our heads around
Time
that
flies,
one.
man. Time flies.
Time is flying. We're really focused. Our specialty is specifically in the B2B manufacturing and technology space. We do work with some financial institutions, but our goal this year, we are as focused as we've ever been probably in the last 10 years in the sense of really owning what we do best in the service offerings you just listed. But also owning what we do best with the clients that we work best with, and that is in that B2B space. So we have a lot of moving pieces, but they're all good, and we got a good crew to handle all the work. So
awesome. Well, so B2B marketing is pretty tricky. It's there's a lot of competition there. It's pretty noisy. Yeah. How do you cut through all the noise and basically do the best you can for your clients?
Yeah, man. There's B2B is tricky, and that's why I feel like we've really owned it. We've worked with so many B2B companies over the years. We average around 10-year relationships with our B2B clients, which I think is awesome, right? You think about the just how crazy this business is in the sense of agency and marketing and everything that how often and how quickly things can change. Our clients work with us, and our whole mantra is you have to cut through the noise, right? Like you absolutely have to. And it's a hell of a lot easier said than done. And so our internal mantra here at the agency is, what are you doing every day to what we call take your clients to the edge? Okay. We're not going to push clients off the edge. Okay. We're going to encourage them to fly off with us and do some really cool kick-ass work. At the end of the day, the client makes a decision, but you're bombarded with so many impressions. It used to be 5,000 digital impressions a day. Now it's like double. And if you're not doing something different, then I don't know why you'd waste your time and put anything out there. I mean, you got to do something different. You got to say it differently, because if you're competing against your competition and they're selling the same product or the same service offering, and you're saying the same thing they are, why in the world would they, when they've narrowed it down to two, they're going to go with the salesman or saleswoman that they like the best, right? Well, let's beat that in what we call soften the beaches. Let's make it real easy to where they already know, man, I'm leading with your company, and this salesman or woman has absolutely clarified you can do the job for me, and it makes it a heck of a lot easier decision. Just to kind of really spread them across from the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, differentiation. It's key, right? Like you can't lead with a glass chin. You got to make sure that you go in guns blazing with your best offering, something that someone else can't offer, right? Like, and that could be, derived in many different ways. Here at the Data Deep Dive, we'd love to hear about how you use data kind of to differentiate yourself. So it's a great storyteller. Can you share us a little bit about how, you maybe improved a client's outcome by leveraging data?
Course. It's timely. We had our biggest client in yesterday, and it's a quarterly analytics report, right? So we live in this world of data. Everyone's obsessed with data. Everyone has data. What are you doing with your data? And that's the most important thing. Our clients, they're really busy and they don't have the time to deep dive into data like we do and what they pay us to do. So the way that we look at it, Ron, is we're reporting quarterly, we're reporting monthly to some clients, but every day and every week, what is going on? The way that we're using data, and I won't give a specific example, but what allows us to see it, and I think a good analogy for it is, you have delivered someone to your front door, right? So you've done your job on a marketing impressions, call them soft metrics, right? So there's click-through rates and there's, CPCs and all sorts of fun stuff. That's good. There, you got to generate impressions and drive leads. When your leads are delivered to your front door and they walk into your home, what are they doing, right? Are they sitting down at the dinner table and breaking bread and having a glass of wine with you? Or are they making a pit stop and using the restroom and they're going to the house down the road, right? Mm-hmm. So we use that analogy with our clients because it's great. Hey, we generated 1 million impressions and there were 400,000 clicks and they all showed up on your doorstep. But what happens if only 2 sit down with you for dinner, right? So we're able to use data to understand how users are behaving. If they're ready to sit down and have dinner and convert, awesome. We've done our job. Marketing has done what we seek out to do every day. If they're not ready to break bread and have a glass of wine, what can we do to get them back and assure the next time they visit the home that they are sitting down at the dinner table? So again, a broad analogy. I don't want to go into specifics, but it's important because especially in the B2B world, we work with I talk to so many prospects that are sitting on a gold mine of data and they just don't know what to do with it. I think about all the cool ways in a CRM system that you could be leveraging cross-sell opportunities for current clients. You've got new acquisitions to make, all sorts of fun stuff. It's just a matter of, are you paying attention to the details of your data and how your customers are behaving?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's so many ways, data is such a ubiquitous term. It's like water, right? Like it's everywhere. And it's just a matter of identifying, well, what's the water you can drink? What's the water that you should stay away from when you're thirsty? What's the water when it's coming down from the sky? And now I'm wet and cold. But organized in a manner that is useful, that can be leveraged for when water isn't falling from the sky, making sure that you're kind of like putting it in pipelines, making sure that you can leverage that against current initiatives. That's the hard part, right? Like,
yes.
Here at Intuizi, we deal with something like, it's mostly geospatial data, but it's
nice. Yeah.
something like, I think it's like 14 billion data points per day enters the system. So we have probably the largest mobility data set out there outside of a large, like FANG-based organization. So we're leveraging that data to basically map the mobility the mobility of devices across all sorts of different walks of life, including in the B2B space, right? Like identifying, it's like, all right, well, a lot of B2B practices account-based marketing. We say, hey, here's my list of people that I'm most interested in talking to in this field. So that's one set of data that you organize, and then how do I stay in front of them? How do I stay top of mind? So what we do is we actually then look at where people work, identify that they're there, and then making sure that your clients are in front of them constantly based on location-based retargeting, all with like consent and privacy, privacy first. And when I say we do it, we actually we coordinate with we're the software that analyzes the data that identifies these devices, but then agencies like yours then implement them for their clients. So it's definitely like an organization of data, and you don't want too much of it. You want only the signal, and you want to be able to leverage it right when you need it. Yeah,
exactly. No, I love it.
Awesome. So switching gears a little bit about kind of like more timely topics. Generative AI is very prevalent in everything business related right now. So we have ChatGPT, we have Bard, we have we have all sorts of different types of large language models that are just changing the way people work. Have you incorporated it into your workflow, your client's workflow? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. The short answer is yes, 100%. We have embraced it. You look at where we were just over 6 months ago as we approached the holidays, right? You didn't really hear much. You've heard about AI, but you're not talking much about ChatGPT. And then January hits and a little thing called ChatGPT, and it takes over, and this shiny object. Oh, this is super cool. Like, and one of my buddies texted me and was like, I wrote a love note to my wife. And I was like, that's nice, right? But what are the opportunities to embrace a platform like this? And just to see the different avenues that it can take, because you want to talk about data, and that thing can spur data real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So Ron, the way that we look at it is, and I've talked to a lot of clients about this, is how are we using this as a tool at the agency to make our days more efficient, for us to be smarter? How are we using these platforms as a sounding board? Whether it's ChatGPT, Bard, Midjourney, there's so many things on the VO front that are starting to take over. You're seeing video editing AI platforms. I mean, it's unbelievable. So the expectation, and we literally just rolled this out on Monday at our May staff meeting, is 10% of your work week is now spent with AI. I don't care how you spend it, but 4.5 to 6 hours of your work week, you're going to be looking into ways to make yourself smarter, to make yourself more efficient. And how can this better our client's business? That's the first thing. The second thing is we are in the process of generating what we're going to call an AI day, where it is solely dedicated. We're going to spend the first 4 hours of the morning in different platforms as teams, et cetera. And then we're going to actually have a prompt and kind of put people to the test in a good way, right? Group up and let's think about this challenge and how do we solve it really fast for something that might take months. We can solve now in seconds. So I think it's right now, I just got back from a conference in Park City, and it's a bunch of different advertising agencies. And the guy goes, hey, he's sharing the ways that he's using it. It's phenomenal. It's sophisticated. And he goes, who's doing this? And myself and a few other hands raised, and there's at least 25 agencies in the room. And I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, like we've been talking about this since January. We've really started to embrace it. I was like, now we're fully embracing it. And some people are scared of it. And I think there is a scary notion. We're so early on in the last 5 months, just how much has changed and its abilities is wild. But also you look at the .com, boom, many moons ago. You look at mobile, you look at social media, and the late 2009, 2010. Like you just got to dive in and embrace it, and you just roll with it. And that's the way that we've been rolling with it for over 40 years as an agency, and that's why we're still here in business.
Amazing, awesome. Well, thank you very much for the time today. It's been super informative. Yep. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with Littlefield Agency, what's the best way of doing so?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. And thank you for having me on. LittlefieldAgency.com is our website. It's just how it sounds, Littlefield Agency. And you can always, you'll find me there. You can contact us on our website. You can find me on LinkedIn, Sam Littlefield. We are here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We work with clients nationally and sometimes internationally. But Ron, I appreciate the time, man. And I'm so glad Anthony connected us. And thanks so much for having me.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that is a wrap. Join us again next week for another informative session on the Data Deep Dive.